What about now? Oh, there we go. There we go. We've got it sound now. There we go. There we go. How we doing? What the hell was I saying? Hey, welcome back. That's pretty much it. Great to have you back on the Ray side. I've got to do it all again now. Super excited to be here. We are coming in hot off that episode. My goodness. Super excited to chat everything that happened in it, because even though it's, it's still on that shorter side, it's still packing a punch, and a lot happened within that episode. So I cannot wait to get into it with you guys. Jump straight in. This is a spoiler full show. If you haven't seen this episode that came out 2 seconds ago, definitely get out of here right now. We're going spoilers full. Let me put it on the bottom of the screen. Crew episode 3, immediate reaction spoilers. You can't miss it. There we go. Episode. It better. There we go. Yeah, it's insane. Insane. Bye, Kirsty. Hey, Johnny. Master Sergeant here. Eric. Javier. Love to see it. Kirsty's just popped in to say hello. Hello, my good friend. Corey's here. Mohammed's here. Master Tim's here. Skywalker's Brady. Thomas. I love to see you. How you doing? How are you doing? What do we think? Episode 3, really interesting. I felt like so much happened in that episode. Lay it on me. What did you guys think? What did you guys think? I thought that was such a fun episode. Like it was just so high energy, and I was super impressed. I'm very impressed with the pacing of these episodes. Like I was starting to say just before, like it's like 30 minutes, but I felt like we did a lot. Like there was no kind of stopping and lingering in a spot for too long. They got out of the jail, they got out of that pirate barge, they, were on the ship and did stuff on the ship, and then they met the owl lady, and I feel like a lot happened, a lot was covered, and information was gained. I think there's so much more to this discussion of, what is at Aten. I feel like they're giving us such good little Easter eggs of not Easter eggs, maybe that's not the right word, just little pieces of information as it's going on. The fact that they didn't know that the war happened. The fact that they talked about Alderaan. Alderaan got a fantastic shout out. And they didn't know when it exploded. So it's like, oh my God, they've been apart, they've been away from the galaxy for all this time. Why? How? They're a part of the Old Republic. They're a part of those planets. Is that in lore? I'm not a big Old Republic person, but I'm going to refer to my Old Republic key guy, Master Tim. Tim, can you come in here with, if you've seen the episode, is that a thing? Is Aten mentioned in old lore, in SWTOR games or anything? But very interested to hear that take. Oh my God! Jupiter coming in here with another insane. Dude, you are a silent assassin of insane proportion. Dude, I thought that was a 99-cent one. I was gonna thank you for that, dude. Insane. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That means so much, dude. Like I said, this is all going to celebration funds, trying to make the best content for you guys while I'm there. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you, thank you. That's insane, man. Thank you. Insane. But there's a lot to talk about in this, episode. So let's jump into it. JS coming in. Honestly, my favorite episode so far. Let's get the music a little lower, actually, for now that we're jumping into this discussion. Favorite episode so far. Very fun. The soundtrack gave me Stranger Things vibes and also more lore on Jod and the Kids Planet. 5 out of 5 stars for JS. That's a very high praise. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the soundtrack of this episode, really good. Really, really good soundtrack. I'm loving the soundtracks and songs of this show so far. Right? How did they not know? How did they not know? It definitely does, Jason. I do agree. Big time donate. Yeah. It's not donate. I love it. Thank you. Yeah, it's big time. Big time. Izzy Bailey? Is he a Jedi? That's the big question. Never. Absolutely. Yeah, the cover the points of speculation we were talking about last week, even how Jude Law got the key. Right? When they were just like, the kids were like, oh, why didn't you just leave the, cell? Because you could do that. I'm like, I felt so seen in that moment, being like, wow, they did very well with the story, because I feel like all the questions and how and what happened here, I feel like just everything was answered in this episode. That's awesome. Really? Not a big fan, Tim? I thought it was just super. I love the pace. Yeah, Owl Lady. Oh my god. The fact, like, the whole time I was like, is this going to be someone, is this, when he was like, oh, we're going to go meet someone who knows star maps. I was like, okay, is this going to be someone we know or someone we don't know? But the fact that it was an Owl Lady, I just so good. You'll see my reaction coming out later on tonight. And you can see the moment. I'm just like, it's an owl. That's who, we're going to help for. But I love her. She was so cool. Mindatron is coming in saying, loving Jude Law. Absolutely. He's interesting. I've never heard of At until Scully Crew. Okay, cool. Because the fact that they mentioned Old Republic there, had me peaked. And I'm like, I wonder if anything of this is connected. Very interesting. 5 out of 10 for you, Sage, this week. Interesting. That catches me by surprise, because I felt like this is, because we discussed this in the Masters, and you were pretty cool with it. I felt like this was an improvement for last week, because more things were happening. I found there was a lot of different scenes in this episode. I liked Jod going back to get Smee, and the great Easter eggs, seeing the Ralph McQuarrie original concepts of droids, seeing the B1 droid, that. I love those Easter eggs. So I felt like this was I don't think so. I don't think it was. Great question, Thomas, because that voice was super familiar, wasn't it? Super, super familiar. I felt like I knew that voice. I don't know what from, but she sounded super something. There's New Republic X-Wings. They were, because we are in the New Republic now. And that's what was interesting, that I got to rewatch the episode, but somewhere, I think it's either Wim or Neil talks about going out into the Republic. And I'm like, oh, they don't know the Empire has happened at all. Fascinating. Yeah. Two great planets. I'm like, interesting planets, if on Atten, they only taught about, they are taught about there's other planets and there's other worlds, but they only, taught about Coruscant and Alderaan. Interesting choices. Joseph coming in saying 7.8 out of 10. I really fun. I like how they aren't dragging some things out. It's nice to get some answers early for a change. I agree. The length didn't matter too much, but it still felt a little short. I know. I think the thing is that and I said this in our Masters meeting this week, is that I feel like this show, again, with a lot of the other shows, would have been an incredible movie. This, I was thinking about with some of the scenes, I was just like, this would have been an incredible movie. A bunch of Star Wars kids and Jude Law get lost. They got to find their way back home. Incredible movie. Damn, that would have been amazing. Imagine if this was a movie and it was coming out at Christmas time, December 17, the Skeleton Crew Star Wars movie comes out. Oh, dude, I feel like that was gonna be just it. I don't know. Do they not have internet on at Atten? They may not. I don't think they would have the HoloNet. I don't think they do. I wish the episodes were longer. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, back to what you've said here, Joseph. Yeah, I totally agree. It's nice getting some answers, and I feel like we've had a bit of a pattern of not getting very clear answers to a lot of the questions we have in these shows. So it was very satisfying to get so many answers so quickly. I totally agree. Neil's mum giving out warm tea. I know, I love that. I was like, Neil's mum? I want to know Neil's mum. She's so nice. She's so nice. There'll be more Mystique coming to come. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, especially with Jude Law's character. Like, I still don't know if he's a Jedi. Is he a Jedi? Like, I'm pretty convinced he can use the Force, but I feel like my theory that I've been feeling is true, that he has the Force, but he was never trained as a Jedi. He was never ever trained as a Jedi. Like, he didn't go through the Jedi. They didn't know about him, but like, he can kind of just use the Force to move things here and there. Like, he's not overly powerful, but he has it, kind of thing. So, I don't know. I think that's what's going down. Dude, I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock from Jupiter's $100 dues. Insane. Saj, I'm so sorry I skipped your soupy. Or 22 months of being a member, I should say. Some cool and funny moments for sure, but I thought that episode was okay at best. Definitely stepped down for the first two. Al CGI and voice threw me off, and some super goofy sequences there. Still waiting for what's next. Really? Okay. Interesting, but fair enough. Two takes. I felt like this was a step up from last week. I think it was a step down from the first two. Very interesting. Well, that makes it interesting for where, it'll go from here. Jod is like the stable boy. Oh my god, yes. Shout out stable boy. Maybe he was the stable boy. Wait, no. That does make sense. Oh my god. He can move small objects. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, okay, so what we know about Atten. You know what? This might be time for the whiteboard. Because I feel like we gotta work this out. Okay. So this is what we know about Atten. Oh my god, Gory! How you doing? Yeah, you like my shirt? Neil Nation, rise up. This is from Gory Comics. Check it out. Gotta love it. He's doing the meme. He's doing the Elmo meme. Thank you so much for sending this out, Gory. Appreciate you, man. Absolutely unbeatable. Absolutely. It's time for the whiteboard. Okay. So at Atten, I don't know what it looks like, but it'll be this for now. Okay, at Atten so far, we know it's okay, they don't. They wouldn't know about the Clone Wars, because I feel like they would have mentioned that, or known that. I think, they think that the Republic still exists. They think the Republic still exists. They think Alderaan exists. Which is insane. Jupiter, dude, why are you being... This is crazy. Crazy. Dude, my friend, thank you so much for a $50 dues. Is this real? Thank you so much, my friend. That's crazy. Insane. Thank you so much. Fern is very cool. 100%. 100%. In the image that they showed of the Old Republic planets, I believe Atten was the middle planet. Okay. Yes, there was. Let's draw that. So on the scroll, there was like, and we're saying that one was at Atten. So the middle one of like the Old Republic was at Atten. Very interesting. That's such a good point, Tim. I thought that too. I was like, I wonder if he was ever tied up with Crimson Dawn. Which would actually be a super cool tie-in, honestly. Like, especially if he, like, knows the underworld quite well. And he's, like, been around a bit. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. Crimson Jack. Crimson Dawn. Yeah, I would hope so. I hope so. The father said something about the Republic, but if they don't know about the Galactic Civil War, it's one of the older republics. Yeah, absolutely. If they don't know about the Clone Wars, they're stuck in the Old Republic ways. The other piece of information we learn about it, weirdly, we learned this from Neil. It's in a nebula somewhere, which I'm gonna go down here now. Which I don't know if we've seen that before, dude. I'm still like wigging out here. This is insane. Thank you so much, Jupiter. What else has been in a nebula in Star Wars? Like, I feel like in Rebels we've flown through nebulas. What else has been in a nebula in Star Wars? Like, Mortis didn't exist in a nebula. That planet from Iago, the planet Iago, someone look that up on Wikipedia. That's the planet that I keep yapping on about from something like, what was that, Things of a Thousand Moons? The Clone Wars episode in season 1. Iago is that planet that's like they're talking, they talk about that planet. I feel like it's in a nebula. Hey, Nathan. I don't know if they are, because they do say Old Republic in the show. But it's a good question. Like, what defines it, hey? I don't think they'll mention Malgus, man. The Great Work. What is the Great Work? Yeah, because remember Neil's talking about, hey, like, what are the details of the planet? He's like, there's something about the planet. It looks like a swirl, like a nebula, and and then the owl lady says it's a nebula. So it is a nebula. You betcha, Dr. Bespin. I'm out to you. Why is it a green nebula at night, but it looks like Earth day? Looks like an Earth day during the day. That's a good point. That's a good question. So it's like, is it a fake nebula? Like, Neil is saying it looks like swirls? But why? How? What does that mean? Is it? Is it actually? Man, this is why I should have kept up with the High Republic, damn it. The Great Works. The Great Works were a group of projects undertaken by the Galactic Republic under Supreme Chancellor Linus So during the High Republic era. The Starlight Beacon, a massive space station constructed on the frontier of the galaxy, was one of So's great works. Other great works that So had planned included the public fair construction of communication relays throughout the galaxy, the negotiation of a treaty between the Quarren and Mon Calamari, cracking the code on Bacta cultivation, and other technology innovations. Okay, so it's under the reign of Linus So, which is interesting. Which was the Chancellor through the High Republic. So what are they doing? Like Neil and the kids have their conversations. Like, what do their parents do? They're analysts. What are they analyzing? It's a good question. Hey, MJ, how you doing? That's true. That is true. Oh, okay. My bad. So the weather is being controlled by the same satellite that used to Operation Cinder, is my theory. Dude, this is deep lore. Okay, what's some definitive information? Okay, let's get here. The Great Work. So the Great Work's mentioned in the High Republic. I need a taller thing. Hang on. There we go. It's better. It's interesting. How long did the owl say the star charts have been missing the planet? I don't think she gave a number. I think she just said a long time. Like, it's been ages since. Did she give a number though? So someone's saying Operation Cinder. Interesting. Yeah, the melody's like, yeah, like, why is everyone an analyst? Okay, most occupations are analysts. Yes. Well, that's the interesting thing, is that the owl mentioned the Old Republic, but that might be the same thing as the High Republic. Like the High Republic is like what we call the books. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do they refer to that as? Maybe they refer to it as the Old Republic. Because the Great Works, and it is plural, the Great Works are mentioned in a bunch of the High Republic books. The Old Republic should mean before the High Republic era. You got a point there. Yeah. Whoop. Oh, this is intense, isn't it? This is intense. Oh, so good. So good. But yeah, I think that's everything about I think that's all we know so far. And they still use Republic credits. What does that mean? Interesting. Ooh, Darth Max coming in. I think the shield is fictional to keep the planet at bay, or at least very different than other shields. As we know, it's because of the ship was able to fly through it, as opposed to what we saw in Rogue One. That's a good point. I don't think it's like a force field. It's not like an actual, like, bubble or anything. Yeah, that's a good point. There was something in the sky. There was that shot from season episode 2 that had those dots in the sky. So there's something up there. I don't know what it is though. I don't really know what that is though. Gory coming in with a theory, long shot theory. Nile Marauders discover planet while the storm wall is up. They stash all the Republic credits as in treasure. Nile are destroyed and use the storm wall technology to keep them out. Oh, the Nile. That's an interesting concept. That would be very interesting if they brought that into this show. Storm wall, though. What does that mean, though? What do you mean by storm wall? Riders discover planet. Well, the Storm Wars up. They stash all the Republic credits. Like the timeline is just so interesting because this is some undefined time after Return of the Jedi. They said, which is like around Mando time. So the Empire has risen and fallen, and Atten think that's in current time, but Atten currently think that the Republic still exists. Stormwall. Oh my god. Okay. Ah, Machian Row. Okay, so this the Stormwall was an impenetrable barrier established by the Nile in the occlusion zone. The Eye of the Nile, Machian Row, created the Stormwall with the Storm Seeds devices developed by... You know what? I gotta look more into that, man, because that actually could be what is over this planet. Very interesting. Very interesting one. I like that. I like that. Darth Max coming in saying, I'm leaning towards it being a hologram to hide the planet, but I'm interested in seeing what the great work is. I have a feeling it may be sinister or an old technology related to the Old Republic. It definitely seems to be something, perhaps, I think Joseph brought up that the great works is something that is discussed in the High Republic books, so something related to that. Maybe it couldn't, the High Republic be the Old Republic to people living in the New Republic? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good bet. Nebula-wise, when the kids passed the barrier, they were quickly outside the nebula. A nebula would be a solar system or bigger, not planet-sized. That's true. Like, you can't just have like a planet cloud. That's a good point. Because do we see it much? Do we see the planet from the exterior much in that second episode? Because usually a nebula is a lot bigger. That's a good point. That's a good point. So perhaps Neil just thinks it's a nebula. They assume it's a nebula. Like, skipping it forward to this thought, like theory of where Atten is, speaking to this episode specifically, I don't think we're going to go back to Atten next episode, right? Like, I don't think they have the right coordinates. And going off what you're saying here, DB, that's a good point. Like, if Neil was like, oh, the swirls, it must be in a nebula. Maybe they've, like, with that intel, like, that's not the right destination because it's not actually a nebula. So I reckon they blast off to somewhere else that isn't at Atten, honestly. Ooh, good question. Is Jod a Padawan from the Clone Wars who doesn't like droids? I don't think he was ever trained as a Jedi. That is my big theory. I don't think he's a Jedi at all. Hey, Brew Creations, how you doing? I think he just has the Force and he wasn't officially trained. I think that's my bet. Like especially his like demeanor and his heart, like it doesn't seem Jedi-like. I mean, basically. So I'm like, I'm not convinced. I'm not at all convinced that he's a Jedi or ever was trained as one. It's my hot take. It's my hot take. But I mean, his story is just overall very interesting. Like the fact that he has this like all these different aliases, you know, he has this background, and like I love that we got a little bit of that lore of him being Captain Silvo, and you know he was thrown into that jail. They all hate all the pirates hate Captain Silvo, like so he has that character side of him. But then he was also Crimson Jack to Our Lady, and what does that mean, and what does that mean for people? So super interesting. I don't know. There's so many sides to it. Yeah, he does. He definitely does. I totally agree. Imagine. That'd be insane. Atten kind of reminds me of Tanalorr from Jedi Survivor after they talk about the Nile. It could be a type to the Old Republic and a new book canon. That's true. And that's a good point. Jedi Survivor did do that well, of just kind of like explaining these like unknown places quite well. And Tanalorr's a good similar kind of example like that. I like that. Good call. Nathan, Jod is awesome. He's like Han Solo with the Force. That's true. That's a good point. MJ saying, what other hidden planets were destroyed in the Old Republic or High Republic? I know in Telos, Taris, Miraluka World, and Malachor. I have no idea about the High Republic era. So the Old Republic era, right? That's a good question. I've only read like a handful of High Republic books, and in the ones I read, they haven't been destroyed, so I don't know. Probably Joseph could probably score me on that one better. Yeah, I'm loving the ship design, actually. I love this ship design. I think it looks super cool. I love it. I love it. Yes, they go to Exegol. That's where Neil becomes a Sith. I like it. The Sith Lord that we truly need. Boston Boy coming in saying, I'm enjoying the series so far. Feels like captures some of the Star Wars magic. It definitely does that. I do agree with that. I think that oddly the pirate side isn't hooking me in yet. Like I'm not a big pirate fan, so I'm just like, okay, this is kind of like a pirate ship. That part I don't really care for, but I think everything else I'm really intrigued with and loving so far. But yeah, good call. But thanks for dropping in, Boston Boy. Got to play Battlefront soon again. So good. So good. Malachor 5 was destroyed in the Old Republic, not Malachor. There you go. There you go. Did we all think that Onyx was the first was in the first scene? Clearly wasn't Jod Silvo pirate ship. No, I didn't think that. I didn't think that was the Onyx. But I mean, it's a good. That's a pretty good good point to make with why is that ship on Atten and how is it buried there, and yeah, like why and how essentially. But yeah, I didn't think it was the I didn't think it was the ship from the start though. Oh my god, hang on. Let me send my editor the video. Stay at the ready. I love it. So good. They could twist their great work into something sinister like Project Sender. That would be wild. Yeah, I mean, it could be like maybe they are. That's a good question that I think is super like subtle. Is like, what is the great work? That's a big question. Like, what if it's something to do with like, I'm thinking Andor level. Like, think of the whole like prison thing on Andor, and like everyone in the galaxy didn't know that was happening, but like essentially they were using these like slave prison workers to build the Death Star. I'm thinking it could be a similar thing with that Atten, where they have all these people, this whole society functioning and working towards building Exegol. You know what I mean? Like building something that we have already seen in Star Wars. Yeah, someone said that earlier, being like, wouldn't it be cool if that means like he's worked for Crimson Dawn previously and like that's why he's called Crimson Jack in this way, but I don't know. That was good. I didn't mind some good old like weird Star Wars humor. I really liked that. Oh, it's so good. I like how they confirmed Jod is Silvo, but there wasn't really a point for the mask. We've now had 4 masks, more in Bad Batch, in 4 shows in a row where the reveal wasn't important or didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that wasn't a, like, I feel as though maybe if they amped that up, but yeah, like you said, it wasn't that important, but that's okay. I don't really mind about that, to be honest. Like, I think it's good that they revealed that now, because I feel like from the first episode, everyone's like, oh, this is Jod, right? So, it makes sense to not hope, you know, they reveal it at the end, and it's like, oh, we always knew it was Jod, so, I don't know. Also didn't think it was the ship at the start, but I'm not sure why it was buried or who the original captain was. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's a good question. I'm interested with that. Very interested with that. It's interesting. There's so many things. There's so many things to go into this. It's very fascinating. The great work at Aten. Jod's background. Yeah, the Storm Wall. The only way to pass it through the Storm Wall is the secret hyperspace routes that Maki and Ro knew. Perhaps that ship. What? There you go. Maki, when did he die? I haven't got to that part of the High Republic books. Did he die at some point? Is he? I don't know. What if his protege is in the show or something? Lightning coming in. Hello, my friend. How you doing? You champion. You got the best, like, race squad here right now. And the original hyperspace routes to allow them to leave. Yeah. It's got to be something like that, where it's like they, for some reason, under that control, was never told, like, you know, we've like finished the hyperspace routes or something. I don't know. He hasn't died in the books yet, dude. That guy's still going. Damn. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Isn't he like a weird alien? Maybe he could be still alive. What if he's in the show? My friend and I go way back. Now, have I heard that before? Yes. That, and what was the other good line? There was another direct line which I loved. It's true. It's one giant bureaucratic accountant planet. That's true. They're doing the galaxy's accounting and tax returns. That's all they do out there. But yeah, I think just for this episode specifically, I think for me it did really well to build upon the last 2 weeks, and I think that's really exciting. Like the fact that we can continually have interest and the story has progressed from the previous two episodes to something more that we want to ask questions of, being like, okay, we know a bit more about Jod. This opens up about this. It means he's not this, but can he be this? And the same with that Aten. And finding all those little bits extra about the planet, what that means, what's the great work. Like, some things were confirmed, and some things were, like, explained a bit, but nothing was answered. So I like, that's good storytelling. That's when you know it's good storytelling, when it's like, it somehow tells you more, and makes you think more questions, but it doesn't answer anything straight away. I like that. Ooh, here we go. Joseph coming in with a crackpot theory. What if the Onyx Cinder was once Hondo's ship? He probably had lots of ships, and he hears someone describe the ship, and so he goes and look for it. That's how we get him in the show. Okay, Joseph, I'll go with you here that if that happens, if that theory happens, we have to have Hondo have a Force Awakened Han moment where he, like, opens the door, like we think it's an enemy. He opens the door, he runs in, and he's like, it's so good to be home. And just, like, does the Force Awakens Han and Chewie line when they return back in the Millennium Falcon. Do that line, but with Hondo in the ship. So if that was to happen, that's how I want to see it happen. I know, like, but how good is that? I feel so excited, and, like, that's such a good feeling. It's like, come on. Give us the next episode. I love looking forward to it. It's so cool. Hey, Alex, how you doing? How did you like the episode? All right. Well, let's do a poll before we end the show, because, of course, you want to catch the full, detailed review of the episode with me, Kai, and Tony for tomorrow's show, The Sith Side Cut. You want to be joining us at, what time is it at? 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern for a full review. What was I doing? I was just... Oh, the poll. I was trying to do a poll. Let's do a poll. Rating it out of 10. Now, the last time I did a poll, it absolutely didn't work whatsoever. So, we'll see how we go. What... Okay, poll's coming in. Let's see if this one works. Thanura, my theory, Jod is an Order 66 survivor who became a pirate and never left the life. Basically, Kanan if he had never met Hera. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Yeah. It's either he is or is not. It's very interesting. All right, is this poll working for everyone? I think it is. Get your votes in now. What do you rate this episode? 9 or 10 out of 10, 7 or 8 out of 10, 5 or 6 out of 10, or 5 or less. Let me know. I'm very actually quite interested to see this stat. 11 votes so far, 82% saying 7 or 8, and 18% with a 9 or 10 out of 10. That is so fascinating. There is not a percentage that is lower than a 7 yet. I love that. Someone's going to do it now, I betcha. All is working awesome, thank you. Oh yeah, like, let's not forget to mention the cutest Neil moments of this episode. Like, him, like, running after, like, everyone, and he, like, shuffles behind, and when he was trying to leave the pirate barge thing, and he was, like, just super overwhelmed. His little, snoring trunk snorts. Unreal. Unreal. Yeah, in a way. I can kind of see that. CT coming in and said that people are not liking this show. To me, it's the most refreshing Star Wars experience since Mando Season 1. Wow, that's been a while. It expands the lore into new territories and doesn't rely on nostalgia or cameos so far. That's a good point. Well, nostalgia and cameos are, in my opinion, an integral part of Star Wars because everything should be connected. But yeah, absolutely. I hope people aren't sleeping on this show. I mean, you can not like it if you don't like it. Like, genuinely. I know people who genuinely just don't like it. But I do agree with the sentiment that it's refreshing. It's definitely very new. It's very different. Very, very different. All right, how's this poll looking? Get your votes in. 15 votes so far. Again, fascinating numbers. 20%. 20% saying 9 or 10 out of 10. And 80% still with a very happy 7 or 8 out of 10. That is such high ratings. There's such high ratings of episodes, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. Don't commit that Hondo's in it, though. It's rumored, and I'm pretty sure it's mainly just been people wanting Hondo in it. I have heard nothing at all concrete that he's actually going to be in the show. It's been purely fan hope that Hondo is in this show. Definitely nothing concrete that I've heard. But yeah, it's good. It's a good time. Yeah, I liked those Easter eggs. Those were fantastic. I love that. That was really, really cool. So good. Yeah, I love the battle droid. Brutus. Oh yeah, let's talk about Brutus is like about to become like some badass villain for the show, right? Like he's gonna go after them, and the fact that they put a bounty on Jod's head now, very interesting. It's cutest nail moment of the week going to be discussed for each episode. Yes, but I'll leave that to the Sith side cut where we're gonna. I'll leave that to Tony to like be the deciding voice and like what was the best Neil moment. I love it. The battle droid cameo made me so happy. I would like Hondo, but do we really think Filoni will let anyone else use him? Yeah, he would. He would. We need lore to try and... Yeah, that's true. We definitely need new lore, new expansions, and that is what this show is doing very well. I do agree with that. Yeah, well, yeah, what did he say? Did we win? Unreal. So good. That's it. Did we win? Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, a lot of KB backstory. Yeah, like there was a lot of little things in this show that really did build up a lot of the characters. I feel like we really got to see into KB's character, like not loving what's going on here, which was quite interesting. Wim is like fully... like they're definitely setting up Jod to betray the kids though, right? Like Wim is just idolizing Jod, but he's absolutely going to turn on them. And then he's like, Wim's absolutely going to be heartbroken. The Grogu music? I got to go back and rewatch that. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. I did not notice that. All right, poll coming in. Almost 18 votes, 78% with a 7 to 8. That is such a high rating for this episode. Really impressive. Really, really impressive. This year for Star Wars has been so much fun. I haven't speculated for years about Star Wars. Yeah, there you go. That's when you know it's doing well. It's feeling good. It's feeling good. Well, gang, we'll keep this one short, and I feel like I've got all my theories out, but I think it's time for a rewatch before the Sith side tomorrow. So again, we're going to be going deep about this episode, and every episode of Skeleton Crew live every Wednesday in the US, Thursday here in Australia. So 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going live with Kai and Tony. We'll be breaking down this episode in its entirety and all its questions it raised. Make sure you check out the reaction video, the full reaction video of mine, dropping later tonight, thanks to my amazing editor, Alex, whipping that up together as we're going live. As we're right now, there's the reaction video being created for us, which is super exciting. Absolute legend there. So make sure you tune in back in tomorrow night as we go into deep details. Make sure you get a rewatch in. It's helpful. Even for me, I'm like, you guys are pointing out like 50 things that I'm like, there's Grogu music, there's this character, there's that, this what? So go away from this conversation and we'll jump into the discussion tomorrow with all the knowledge of a rewatch, and try and watch as many times as you can to catch everything you can from the show, because it's a good time. It's a good time. The force flows in all of us. Absolutely. I love it when he said that. Absolutely unreal. Well, thank you so much for hanging out today. Appreciate you dropping by. We're going to be doing these post-show immediate reactions every single episode, so make sure you're joining me every week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you're always choosing the right side. Rawr!